Welcome to FFC Top 3, a show where we, your FFC hosts, count things down from number 3 to number 1. Thank you for joining us this week. If you have a suggestion for Top 3, be sure to drop us a note on Twitter, @FocusFireChat, in our Discord, or even email us at focusfirechat@gmail.com. Which, by the way, we've been getting a lot of suggestions, so thank you so much to those of you who've been sending in suggestions. This week, we're going to discuss our top 3 breakfast meals, foods. I think meals, because there's like a lot of things that I like to put together, and it's not just a single food item, but top 3 breakfast foods. Make it kind of easy. Okay. I say easy, but who's going to break it? Who wants to go first? Blue's going to break it. Blue doesn't eat breakfast. Blue, go first.
No, Blue.
Number 3 for me is omelets.
Okay.
Any kind of omelet?
Mm-hmm.
What's your ideal omelet look like?
A good one.
You are not specific this week at all. Like normally,
no, like normally, I'm like I don't care. I'm like there's only really one breakfast food that I really care about, and it's like super pretty plain. Like this one, honestly, it was a toss up between omelets and toast with butter and honey.
Okay.
So I went with the healthier option because I figured people would not want to know about like the butter and honey. They're like, yeah.
Why not?
Wait, almonds and toast and butter and honey, that's your unhealthy option?
Where in the world did almonds come from?
Did you say?
Are you just like adding food items to my breakfast
It sounded
now?
like a very Blue thing. Like you'd be like, oh yes, with the praline drizzle.
That sounds delicious.
Oh my
actually.
gosh, praline. No.
So what we have to tell Bungie to make sure that Blue is, stumped for all eternity, is to give him food options of Guardians over the course of years.
Yes.
Just to kind of go from there, and he can just be like, that's nice.
I did do a poll this week about what Guardian food should show up next.
Yeah.
Since we've had ramen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was surprised Euros did not win.
That's because people are uncivilized and dumb.
Well, people are people, but it was just shocking. Tacos ended up winning, which tacos are delicious.
And they're also a variant of... Anyways.
Blue makes this rather unhealthy, large generalization, but he doesn't really mean it.
No, I don't. I'm not a firm believer of Wizard's first rule at all.
Okay.
Beard, what's your number 3 breakfast food?
Wish I have a mouthful of food.
See, I waited until after I was done to eat my jalapeno poppers.
I didn't know when I was going to get called on. Okay,
I know.
Okay.
It's always a surprise.
It is always a surprise, and Green is always just like popping up in my Discord feed, like, "Hey, I got a thing to talk to you about." I'm like, "Oh God, it's Green!" And no, I'm kidding.
Whoa!
My top 3 actually has to go with, or my number 3, I should say, goes in Mimic with Blue. Actually, it would actually have to be like eggs in general. Only because eggs,
yelling
unfortunately,
at me for not
have
being general or specific.
Well, look, I'm going to get more specific, but eggs in general means that eggs themselves are very, they're what's the word I'm looking for? They're very flexible in how
they're
you
no
use
yolk.
them. And I feel like I just want to stop my discussion altogether. Now, what I love about eggs is that you can throw them pretty much anywhere. Like I can
literally and figuratively.
Just about. I mean, I'll throw in it Blue next time I see him at Guardian Con. No, I won't.
It's a legit
I will.
strategy.
Maybe I will. That actually sounds like a good idea. Anyway, but what I will sometimes do is I'll actually throw them in with like with home fries, because I'll I'll chop my own up and I make them myself. I'm a big believer in cooking breakfast because it's better that way. But that being said, like I'll throw them in after I've gotten the like the potatoes all ready and so on, and just the eggs kind of catch some of the extras from there, which is great. And then additionally, if you add any seasoning into the potatoes, that picks up besides. So it's awesome to have like that good mix, and just to kind of like throw it all together into a bowl. Yeah, perfect. Just a good way to do it. But yet again, they are flexible, so I can also make them like if I scramble them, I'll actually let it so that it just forms inside the it'll actually like cook inside the pan, and it'll actually just stay in a circle. Nice. And that's kind of how I eat it, like omelet style in a way. And what I'll do though is I throw like the thing that I think is overlooked about eggs in a lot of terms by many is that they don't like throw seasonings in with it. Like red pepper, even oregano does very well with it. Basil does very well with eggs too. But that's the thing that I love about them is that they are so, as a generalized thing, you can do so much with them. And it depends basically on like what it is that you're thinking about doing, like for that day. That said, I would have to mimic blue entirely as an omelet, but it would have to be a veggie omelet. Veggie omelets are one, just nicer to wake up to because they always give that extra little kick behind them. Thanks after the vitamins really kick in, thanks to the vegetables. But I've just in general been a fan of vegetables the more I get older. I don't know how that happens, but it happens.
That's okay. You guys are going all healthy with this. Justin, what's your number 3?
Justin went a different way.
Of course he did.
So, my number 3 is, it would be higher up my list, but it's not a very frequent breakfast for me. And the only reason why is convenience. That's it. It's phenomenal. It's old-fashioned biscuits and gravy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, get a little sausage thrown in there, some crumbled brown sausage in the gravy.
This is completely understandable. Like, completely understandable.
Yeah. It's not quite so healthy, and it's really like a really bad idea. Like, if you're wanting to be very active the rest of your day, eating, a yard of cement drizzled over biscuits is, that's not the best idea, but oh my Lord, on a cold day, it is just the bee's knees.
Mm-hmm. Do you like really spicy, peppery gravy, or do you like very mild gravy?
No, pepper in terms of just regular black pepper and a pinch of salt. You have to have the cast iron skillet that your grandmother's been cooking sausage and bacon in for like 30 years and never gets washed. And that's what you cook the gravy in. Yes. That's what you cook the gravy in.
Okay, to be fair, Beard, the only way you're supposed to clean a cast iron skillet is you're supposed to clean it with oil and kosher salt.
I know.
Yeah, when I say don't ever wash, I don't mean that it never gets cleaned. I just mean that it's just got a bunch of baked in flavor.
It's super seasoned.
I mean, yeah. I'm still gonna be over here going, ugh.
It's good.
Okay. It's okay. You're the one that put veggies on your omelet. I don't want to hear your rut. I had a rut and I held it in like an adult.
I'm kind of like in between the two different factions because mine is like, okay, mine actually has like a memory tied to it. Growing up, my mom had to go to school really early because she was going to college while I was fairly young. So she was always out of the house. And my grandpa would come over and he would always make egg sandwiches. Or if on this very, very special day, if I begged him, he would make eggies in a basket.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to have like a ton of butter on them to just make it just, egg sandwiches with a little bit of cheese or eggies in a basket. It's my number 3. It's kind of in between because I'm going to count the eggs as being good for you, but really with all that butter in there, not so much.
Not so much, no. Depending on the butter, anyway. Like,
that's true.
That's the thing. Like if it's the I can't believe it's not butter stuff, then that's not that bad. That's pretty good.
Oil is oil.
Oil is oil.
Blue,
it's
what's
not
your
good for
number?
you one way or another.
That's true.
Mine's a toss-up between waffles and then homemade cinnamon toast.
Cinnamon toast is amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
well, and to be fair, I generally will only eat it if it's homemade. So, like, and that's kind of stems back to kind of what you're saying about the memory thing. That's because when I was with my grandma, that's what we used to do. And we'd always make like homemade bread from scratch, so it was on top of that too.
Nice. Beard. What is about your number 2?
My number 2 would have to be maple sausage. I know that it is not generally a full-on like only breakfast thing, but it's traditionally what I think of in that right. But I feel like, again, if you can't tell, I'm kind of like making the well-rounded meal here. Part of that, though, would also have to include waffles or French toast because, it's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
But sausage in general, because I am, as I talk about, I think fairly often on the show, Scotch, Irish, and heavily German, I enjoy sausage. I don't have any other way I can really say it. I like sausage as a meat. I don't like scrapple. Like I'll put that out there. I'm not a fan of scrapple. But sausage.
The game?
No,
No.
Scrapple.
That's
like-
Scrabble. Scrapple is
That's
different.
Scrabble. Mhm.
I don't
it's
know.
like scrapple is like ham that's chopped up real fine, isn't it?
It's disgusting.
It's a lot of leftovers.
Spam.
There's no other way to really put it other than
it's
it's a
bologna.
lot of leftover stuff that you have generally from pig. But yeah, it's different and it tastes different. I know some people that will be able to eat it raw, and I'm just like, nope, can't do it.
This is the appropriate part of the.
Yeah, really. This is the Pennsylvania Dutch in me that I cannot for the life of me stomach this stuff. But sausage, I love it. Especially like maple sausage, like the little Jimmy Dean links almost.
Mhm.
That I think is probably like my favorite because they always the problem with like if it's again, there's no other way to say this. If sausage is unfortunately like too thick, it takes a lot for it to heat, and then the outside gets to be too crisp.
I love the crispy part, though.
Well, I don't mind it, but I have to be in the mood for it. But
Mm.
breakfast time, I don't want that. Like, I want to
Okay.
make sure that it's like easier to cook. It gets done fairly easily. I can put it at like a mid simmer or so on, and just be fine with it. But that's the nicest thing about like the smaller sausage links. I like those better for breakfast, I think, than I do most of the other
Patties.
stuff. Patties are not I will eat them if they are presented to me, but sausage, there is something better about sausage links than there is patties. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just a matter that the way that it is prepared and built up is just that different for me or what, but yeah, I just I appreciate them in links more than I do in patties.
Okay. Justin, what about your number 2?
My number 2. Well, you guys kind of take a bunch of good stuff from me, but I guess it's hard because it's hard to find something kind of unique for breakfast because everyone eats the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I probably would have to say just the old standby, just scrambled eggs. Just because it's such a good medium for whatever you're wanting to do. And if you do scrambled eggs right, which a lot of people completely do wrong, which is they overcook them, which is the worst. That's almost as bad as overcooking a steak, is overcooking scrambled eggs.
Whoa.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Overcooking eggs and steak on the same level?
That's
if you
almost as well. It's okay. Let me just say, if you overcook a steak,
get him, Justin.
the whole
Get him.
thing's ruined. If you overcook a steak, the whole thing's ruined. It's a wrap. Take it, leave it, throw it to the dog, whatever you want to do. It's the same with eggs. If you overcook the eggs, dude, you're just done. Like you're done. And what a lot of people don't understand
Literally.
is they keep cooking once you've taken them out of the pan.
Yes.
So you want to. Unless you just like eating rubber, you're going to want to take them out a little bit wet and let them finish cooking on the plate. But yeah, I love scrambled eggs. Throw some sausage in there. And if I'm feeling lazy, what I'll do is I'll get the real bacon pieces people put on their salads. And man, just shake them in there with some cheese towards the end, right before you take them off. Can't beat it.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are so good with like the actual cooking suggestions and everything.
Yeah, to be
Oh,
fair,
yeah, that's a pro
I think
tip.
yeah, I was
Use
about to
that.
say I think most of us grew up cooking our own.
Right.
Yeah, from
I'm
a young
gonna
age.
I gotta say, I had the benefit that my when I would go down to my grandparents' house, they would always cook, and they still pretty well do to this day. But that's just the thing. I picked up on how it all goes, and it's probably one of the nicest things to just grow up in a family that like knew what was going on with cooking.
Mhm.
Just because I was able to kind of pick up on some other stuff, which is entirely funny because I can't talk about my immediate family being good at cooking. I'm gonna preface this: love my mother to death, but I'll cook. It's okay, Mom. It's
I
fine.
know how that goes. I didn't know what a good roast beef tasted like until I got married.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of like roast beef, I'm gonna be real weird because
Uh-oh.
my number 2 is an eggs Benedict with a slice of roast beef on it.
Oh my lord!
Mm-hmm. Now, the only place I've ever gotten this is at First Watch, which I got exposed to the very first time last year at Guardian Con, and we enjoyed it so much. Julie and I did. We got introduced to it by her cousin, who we got to stay with down there, that we went to the restaurant 4 different times on that single trip.
Wow.
And once was with Blue. And I think I got Eggs Benedict that time as well. And it's just, there's something really nice about that English muffin with eggs on top and just a slice of roast beef kind of adding to it a little bit and the sauce. It's just so good. And I can't make it because I don't know how to make hollandaise, and I never have tried to make hollandaise. But if I go out, that is the thing that I will try to find. Just like in the sandwich episode, I was just like, I want to find a patty melt. Eggs Benedict is what I try to find for breakfast. Super yummy. I think we're down to our number 1. Blue?
Yep.
Pancakes. Done.
I think, okay,
To be fair, buttermilk, plain pancakes.
buttermilk pancakes specifically, though.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I mean, I
mean, are there any other
completely
options?
Yeah. I'm completely on board with this. It's sort of like plain pizza.
Okay, how do you
If
like
it's a good
pancakes,
if-
though?
What?
How do you like your pancakes? Do you like them with syrup or peanut
Oh,
butter?
I was
or-
about to like just leave if you were going to talk about like, do you like them cooked? I'm like, wait,
No.
what type of person are you?
Yes,
I mean,
I like
I'm
my
real
pancakes al
weird.
dente.
Green, there would be several questions I would have. if
I know. I was
we
like,
were,
I'm like, wait,
worrying
I'm gonna
about,
need,
like, just
I'm
eating the
gonna
batter.
need a little bit of clarification and context on this question.
I could see where you guys would get confused because I've asked those kind of things, but pancakes. What do you
yeah,
put
pancakes.
on them?
I honestly, I really stick with plain pancakes, butter and plain syrup. I mean,
Classic.
it's just one of those. It's one of those things that's just, it tastes good. It fills you up, and I mean, I make buttermilk pancakes myself, and anywhere we go, generally, if it's if it's a breakfast place at all, that's just what I get, is just plain pancakes.
Nice.
That's fair.
Beard what's your number one?
It's a tough one because I do very much enjoy making a lot of different breakfast foods. However, I am very much a fan of potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, it kind of comes back to what I was talking about earlier with the way that potatoes are also very flexible in how you can prepare them. There's hash browns, there's home fries, and then there are other means that you can kind of do things with, like the skins besides. So there's a lot of different ways you can otherwise prepare potatoes. That being said, again, I will really just enjoy making standard home fries, but I will make them in blocks. So I will basically chop them. I kind of chop them down, and I'll put it into like smaller 1/4-inch cubes.
Mm-hmm.
Throw it into the pan and just leave it go for a good 15 minutes, just to make sure they really get hot. And then my indicator is basically when I can put the wood spoon to them and just have them fall apart. That means they're done. But some salt, some pepper, some oregano, and that's that. That's what I like. I'm not a fan of just having them cut down into smaller circular, very thin, the very thin diced potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like they get too crispy too quickly. That's the thing that I like about the cube style, because at least it holds on a little bit more.
Okay.
It holds on to the sturdiness of the potato a little bit more. It also holds on to some of the water on the inside of them, or the liquid on the inside of them. And it at least keeps it so that it's not complete crisp when you go to bite into it. So I like that old Eminem saying, "Melts in your mouth, not in your hand." Not that has anything to do with potatoes.
Apply to potatoes, but yeah.
Look, just go with it. Okay, all right. But that being said, that's my big thing, is just pretty well just home fries in a lot of ways. Just the way that I can prepare them, or at least where they're more cube styled. But that's kind of like my breakfast in a lot of ways. It'll either be sausage or bacon. It'll be like a cube style small potato. It'll be eggs, and it'll depend basically on how I decide to put it together. And if I don't prepare the potatoes, if I'm in a rush, I'll sometimes do just peanut butter toast.
Mm-hmm.
It's still one of the best things to get some extra protein real quick.
Oh yeah, peanut butter toast is like my mid-morning snack.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times.
Add banana, and you're good.
Strawberries. Justin, what's your number one?
Potatoes. No.
Really?
Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Well, I'm a little salty on this one, just because pancakes would have totally been my number one. I'm
going to make it my number one too, so feel free to take it again.
Yeah, I'll expand a little bit here, but pancakes are my go-to. Every breakfast I make has pancakes. It's always pancakes, this, and this. Pancakes, this, and this. I mean, it's always, there's pancakes involved. But if I am going to rank my number one breakfast, it should probably be the breakfast I eat most often and like the most. So I don't always get to make pancakes because, life.
Mm-hmm.
But being in Texas, one thing that we have that I really love is the mighty taquito.
Oh, well, that's acceptable too.
That's fair.
I thought you were going to go with kolaches.
Oh, well, you talking about an actual kolache?
Yes.
Or are you talking about a pig in a blanket?
Both would be acceptable, but the actual kolache is by far better.
Oh, the actual. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, the kolache is actually, a lot of people call a pig in a blanket in Texas a larger pig in a blanket. They call it a kolache, but it's really not the actual check. The actual check. And
I love how it's really not.
Yeah, it's really not. It's just one of those things. It's just not. But the actual ones, and there's a couple places in Ennis
West.
and also in West,
West Texas.
where which is right on the way to Blue's parents' house, where you can get actual kolaches, which are usually filled puff pastries filled with cream cheese and or fruit, and they
or
are
anything, to be honest, because they have sausage ones too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do, but just that's not what I think when I think kolache. But yeah, it's definitely not a pig in a blanket. But yeah, taquitos, just eat them up. You can get them everywhere in Texas. It's amazing. It doesn't matter. Bacon, egg, and cheese, sausage, egg, and cheese, potato, egg, and cheese, or all of that. You can't go
or
wrong.
all of it. Just get the kitchen sink ones.
Yeah, wow.
Oh God.
Oh no, they have those, and they're delicious.
Torchies.
Okay, I'm not sure if I've ever had a kolache or a taquito. To be
What?
totally,
Oh.
I've never had either.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So one of the highlights of my existence. So I like as most people probably know, but if you don't know, I grew up in Texas. So like kolaches or pigs in a blanket, like both of those were staples for breakfast. Like if you went to get donuts, it was just you got one or the other as well, whichever the Korean shop that you went to had, because that's what they always had, was like either pigs in a blanket or kolaches.
Mm-hmm.
So when we moved up to Kansas, it was a huge It was a huge culture shock, because I walked in the very first day we were here. I walked into a donut shop to get donuts for the guys that were helping us move. And I was like, all right, I need a dozen donuts and I need, 2 dozen kolaches. And I'm pretty sure the donut people thought I was just like making up words.
Yeah.
And, like they're like the what? And I'm like, like pigs in a blanket, like, the other things that the other things that you have, they're like, we just have donuts. And I'm like, what fresh hell is this? That only you have what? Like you
Yeah, it's not a thing up.
I'm like,
in
and it's been the biggest like culture shock for me. And explaining it to people who aren't from Texas is really like difficult, because you're just not, it's just not a thing. Like if you go to a donut shop anywhere outside of Texas, apparently they don't have other things. Just really weird for me to say even now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I think last year though, they opened up a kolache factory right down the street, and I was like, I might have spent a little bit too long rejoicing.
What in nine hells is that?
Well, the kolache factory?
No, what Justin put in chat.
So there's a spot.
Torchies?
Yeah.
Oh, Torchies is
It's
awesome.
it's a little big chain, but they have a secret menu like In and Out, and
Okay.
one of the items on it's called the Ace of Spades, and it has all of that. It's the kitchen sink.
It is the kitchen sink.
Oh
like,
my!
Some chopped brisket. It's got a whole jalapeno sausage link. It's got a fried
It's
egg. It's got some
amazing.
scrambled egg. It's got cheese. It's got a little feta on it. It's got like everything.
To give you a description of what it looks like it's wrapped up in a tortilla, but it's like a baked potato gone wrong. But it's not a potato; it's a sausage.
It's delicious,
Wrapped
is
in
what
it.
it is.
Okay, to give you an image, picture the worst car wreck you've ever seen, except replace all the cars with delicious flavors.
That's funny. Okay, so since Blue took pancakes, I'm going to switch mine up to the most rare breakfast, but also one of the most delicious breakfasts I've ever had. And it's rare because the only place I know you can get it is in Wisconsin. And that's quite a ways away from Colorado. I have family in Wisconsin. I have a great grandmother who lives in Wisconsin still. She's like 99 now. And she lives close to a town that makes something called a kringle. And it is a pastry that is a very large, probably like a foot in diameter pastry that
It's a very imposing
filled-
piece of food.
it's delicious. You share it. You don't eat the whole thing by yourself.
Oh, is that how that's supposed to work?
Generally.
I could.
I was not informed of this practice.
You can fill it with whatever. They have almond ones. They have so many different good ones. Almond, apple, raspberry. They have just like the Danish cheese ones. They're just so good. And my family, every once in a while, will special order them in. And they're only made real close to one of the Great Lake near Racine, Wisconsin, where my great-grandmother lives. And her farm that is still there today. Just super good little pastry place. They do ship. So if you would like to try such things, I highly encourage it.
Ooh, the one that kind of looks like a strudel.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's just a giant strudel.
Yeah.
It's super good.
I just want to walk in and take the whole thing and go, counts as one.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So I actually am going to use one of our newest submissions for the top 3 topic, because I thought it was it's a little weird, but it's also really fun, and it'll be fun to actually say. And this one actually comes from Libby. And
this one.
Mm-hmm. We're going to do our top 3 catchphrases. So,
well,
keep it clean.
I think I've got
keep
that
it
one
clean.
covered.
Yes, let's keep it clean. But like catchphrases,
I legitimately have a catchphrase every video.
Like
2
in
of them,
popular
in fact.
culture, or one we use every day?
Either one. If it's your catchphrase, great. If it's like Bugs Bunny's catchphrase, like "What's up, Doc?" that's also acceptable. It's just your top 3 favorite catchphrases.
Okay.
Like seriously, I've got 2 done already, so let's just go on to the show. Like, can we just record that one right after?
No. I don't have mine ready. But that is for this week, or this next week, and we will see you guys next week. I think Blue has a new special outro for us.
Oh.